Well, Deadly, I think you know what time it is now.
Yeah, cause you're. Oh
Time for
no!
you to read another fanfiction.
Korrin locked me up in the basement. If this does make it, hunt him down. Get those keys. Be in the outro. Lock me from the basement under his house. Please, I beg you. He's coming.
Are you I hear breathing. Oh, time to watch YouTube then.
Guy, it's your nose is not designed you. Ooh, you're so boring. Couldn't help but notice your goes from across the floor.
Oh crap, Korrin, you're back. I couldn't hear you and I had turned it all the way down. Dude, someone was here and they said hi, and I don't know who this person is. BGPNS. That was a prank, wasn't it? Yes.
Alright, audio's back in. We're free to read your story. Not your story, but
Deadly
like,
reads. Deadly reads.
Yeah, Deadly.
Deadly reads.
Yeah, I would try
Good
not
bum.
laugh as much, but it's really
Alright.
stupid again. I can't help
You know,
it.
this one's actually genuinely wrote good.
Oh,
It's
wow,
actually
okay,
slow.
I can't-
Yeah, it's written slow and all the lead shit's at the end.
Oh, sweet, that's a win. Wait, this
That's
is fucking a Deathclaw.
I know. Well, Deathclaw.
How are the human... How are they...
Deathclaws. Deathclaws.
I get what that means now. I
Yeah.
don't understand. How are two human... Well, mostly human beings talking to each other, like, straight, let's fuck. And then a guy talking to Deathclaws is just actual, like, slow and well-paced. What the fuck?
It's
Okay, you know what?
I,
No,
I was like fast rating, and I noticed until the end it was like all like surprisingly tame. It kind of scared me. All right, I'm gonna start out.
Yeah,
James,
start it.
battered on the old clipped up door, or chipped up door. Why is it? I don't know.
Vocabulary.
Yeah.
Non-exists.
Chipped up door of the Museum of Witchcraft. Chained down,
Oh.
he muttered as he slammed into the door with his heavy T-51B power armor. There's gotta be a different way in, he said to himself. As he began to pace around the sides of the large old building, he spotted an opening in the basement. A smirk sprouted in his face. Bingo, he said as he yanked open the doors and hopped in. As James wandered under the building in the basement, he heard tremors and growls. Something sounded like it was eating. A pulse of fear flew through James, and he involuntarily whipped out his plasma rifle. I was about to think you were about to say whip out his dick.
No. This isn't the Argonian maid. This has actual class.
Yes.
Which is weird. This is weird.
Yes. Checking and making sure the clip was full. That's not the only thing that's full. As he focused on the rifle,
God damn it,
he
Dylan.
did notice the large, tall staircase in front of him. In one word. In front of him. Along with a humongous figure at the top. He quickly tripped and fell on the stair. Head slamming against the top of the staircase. Fuck my goddamn head. He said. Because of the Argonian maid, I always have these dumb innuendos in my head.
Bucket head.
Yeah, because I hear head and I'm like, oh, what kind of head? He said as he
Your bucket
looked
falls
up.
from the ceiling every time.
Oh yeah. He's like, my fucking head, and the bucket just comes out of nowhere. You said head. Have a free bucket. Okay.
Oh, fuck, I can imagine that actually.
Yeah, I want to see that. He said as he looked
Animation.
up and saw the biggest, meanest Deathclaw he had ever seen. The two seemed to stare into each other's eyes in a bizarre, surreal moment. "Fuck!" he screamed, opening fire as the Deathclaw roared and charged up him. Used to fighting wasteland creatures, James sidestepped. This didn't seem to faze the Deathclaw. Its reflexes are faster and more responsive than his own. She skillfully dodged and grabbed a hold of him, slamming him against the wall and roaring, showing her many sharp teeth, coated in thick, gooey saliva. James yelled and punched the Deathclaw in the face, causing her to drop him, along with several of her teeth flying out. Wow. What is with these fanfics and the dude?
Well, okay. So listen. So he's in T-51 power armor.
Oh yeah, he's in power armor.
Yeah, so that makes sense. But the fucking elf tearing through argonian skin still doesn't make sense. Like this
Yeah.
is full on metal. Like
Well, maybe
high-tech shit.
maybe argonian skin is like human skin, but you know, lizard people. Maybe it's weaker because they're lizard people. I don't know. I'm not gonna go into the science because it's a fucking fan fiction. But anywho,
That's very fair. Yeah.
that's very fair. Alright. He quickly got up and ran upstairs as the Deathclaw got its bearings back. Damn, it fucking almost knocked her out, as it sounds.
I mean, it's angry.
Yeah, got its bearings back. It then came barreling upstairs, only to see the human, the top of the staircase. Good vocabulary. Minds
it's better than the
began.
other one, let's be honest.
Shit, my phone died. Not died. Minds began to beep. Minds began to beep in reaction to the moment as James screamed, "Fuck you!" firing a Fat Man mini nuke. A gargantuan explosion occurred, shaking the building before he could react. A large wave of crimson blood slammed into James, destroying the appendages of his armor and leaving only his helmet and torso pieces standing. "Holy fuck," he said, wiping the blood from his visor. When the dust settled, nothing was left but blood and guts. Wow, that was a pretty fast fanfic. Nothing even happened.
I mean, wait, is that actually a joke?
No, I'm playing with you. James sighed as he searched the now
Bloody
abandoned
Mesper.
museum. Huh? Well, yeah, bloody Mesper.
Fucking James had a bloody mess per.
That bastard. Well, at least it wasn't like me and being sadistic and shooting off the Deathclaw's leg just to cripple it.
Yeah, I mean, I would hate to be the janitor of that goddamn witchcraft museum.
Oh yeah. Well, it
Look
is
at
fallen
every
after
corner
all.
is just covered in
Yeah.
blood. Well,
It
yeah,
is
I know,
fallen.
but it's fan fiction. Someone has to clean it. Like, it's just
Wow.
kind of.
I actually want to be that janitor and be like, there's a lot of seminal fluids everywhere.
Their jobs suck.
Damn. Yeah.
Remember, writers, there's someone who has to clean up your shit after.
No, maybe he's
Don't
like a
let it-
weirdo. Maybe the janitor's a weirdo and keeps a jar of Deathclaw / human bodily fluids.
Argonian,
I don't know.
fucking-
Yeah, maybe that too. Maybe
He
he's a
goes
time
throughout
traveler.
every.
Maybe he
goes
is
throughout
that
every
Dwimmer.
fucking fan
Not Dwimmer. Fucking.
He's the
Red
Dwimmer
Guard.
Red Guard.
The Dwimmer Redguard. Bosmer. Breton. James sighed as he searched the now abandoned museum for any sort of valuables. He found a dead body, the dead bodies of gunners, the flesh torn from them, obvious signs that the Deathclaw was hungry. Just that when he was in the brink. Oh god, I need a burp. I feel like I'm about to throw up. Brink of giving
You're
up.
about to.
The James stumbled into a bathroom In it, whoa, okay, phone, thank you. In it laid 6 pristine Deathclaw eggs, along with a holotape next to a dead gunner. As James, oh wait, are you telling me? Wait, what am I seeing here? Am I gonna like come to like 6 new Deathclaws, and they're all gonna try to fuck the dude? That's just gross.
He's gonna fuck 6 Deathclaws. That's just too many, man.
Well, that's 2 less actually for me. Along with a holotape. Along with a
2
holotape.
less for me, actually.
2 less. With a holotape next to a dead gunner. As James listened to the holotape and learned of the situation, he instantly ignored the reward of selling the eggs and instead decided to take them back to the nest. Wow, pussy.
I mean, I did that too,
I would get the money.
honest.
I would get the money if I had that shit.
I gave him back. I don't want to piss off a Deathclaw. The gunners
Dude.
are nothing. A fucking Deathclaw
A Deathclaw can't track you.
A Deathclaw can insta-kill me every time I look at them in that game. That's why I stopped playing that game.
Yeah. And instead decided to take him back to the nest. He found an old, large potato bag and loaded each egg into the bag and set off for the nest. James arrived at the nest and slowly walked to the center. He didn't see any Deathclaws, which instantly plunged into worry. He paced around and quickly decided to just dump the eggs on the ground as soon. Wait, okay, so there's a period right there. As soon as the plopped on the ground, 6 Deathclaws charged out of the near. Oh wow, he is gonna fuck 6 Deathclaws. 6 Deathclaws charged out of a nearby cave. James screamed and fell onto his back in fear, his armor slamming into the ground, but to his surprise, none attacked him. They simply stared at him, then the eggs, then back at him, and back on the eggs once more. Most of them began to grunt very strangely and bury their eggs. The biggest out of all. They keep turning off.
Damn it.
Yeah. The biggest out
At
of all.
least it's all mine because it's like,
Yeah, just
big
gets
one's gonna
split.
take him all
Yeah.
by himself.
The biggest out of all of them approached him and continued the grunting. It was then James realized, these must be females. These must be the females of the pack. As James heard the large alpha female Deathclaw make strange grunts, the rest of the females again began to show up from around him. He pulled the trigger on his plasma gun and found that the cartridge was gone dry. Shit, he muttered as he realized he was going to get just a bit more than he bargained for. Before he could reach for another firearm, one of the Deathclaws used its hands to Am I reading that right? Impressive. How do you supposed to fucking say that? I'm skipping that word. Open his power armor and yank him out. He slammed against the ground in his light, vulnerable Vault 111 jump. Okay.
So it's the Soul Survivor.
Yeah, Soul Survivor.
Some shit.
The
God damn it.
females stood over him, smiling, hot drool from their mouth. Okay, this is where it starts to get weird. Hot drool from their mouths dripping all over him as he cursed. 2 females held down his limbs as the largest female sliced open the jumpsuit with careful precision, as not to cut him. James blushed as they peeled away the jumpsuit and threw it aside. At least let me pop some radix first, he begged, as the females stared, full of lust, at his naked body before He could say another thing. The large female pounced him and began to kiss and lick all over his face. Great damn! James.
That would be so painful.
I bet that would be.
They have teeth like the size of his fucking eyeball.
Yeah, well, it's licked. I'm not sure how kissing would work.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think that could work. I think we talked about this before, to be honest, but like...
Yeah,
I don't think
your
it
dick
can.
sucked by a fucking deathclaw. Yeah, that's a good conversation.
Yeah! Yeah, we had that before.
Damn.
I think
And
we
also,
had the
deathclaws
Chandler
actually
video.
have more than one emotion. That's kind of surprising. James said
Yeah, I know.
as she licked butt, eventually gave in and began to kiss and lick the back. What? Eventually gave in and began to kiss and lick back. Okay.
Lick back.
Noting. Not ting. No ting.
No.
No ting, not
Oh,
ting.
thank
Cool,
God.
cool.
Thank God.
This is a dude. This ain't no fucking dog. Oh,
Still know the
fuck.
wasteland.
Yeah. Noting the
Yeah,
unique,
that right-
rough texture her tongue had, this went on for 5 minutes before the other females began to get impatient. The large alpha female smirked and stood over him, turning around and lifting her tail. Hey!
Oh,
A
lifts her
reference.
tail.
It's a reference. James marveled
Lifts her
at the
tail,
large...
that's funny.
This is where I start to pause.
This is where he starts to cringe
Yeah.
to death, and I sit here like, why?
James marveled at the large womanhood she possessed. It looked slightly green, as if irradiated, but at this point James didn't have a say. He was the slave to females for now. The females roared again, and 2 more of the 6 laid down and began to lick and suck on James already very hard. There's not even any sort of word to cover this up.
How are they even
It went
doing
straight
that?
to the point.
Deathclaws, they're fucking
Yeah.
huge. They're
They're
huge.
huge.
How is there 6 sitting victim? What the fuck?
Literally,
What's
it
bigger
just-
than the rest?
It went straight to it and said the word. James already had a very hard penis.
Oh, well, that's actually as bad as the other words
Yeah.
that he used.
Well, I wish they would use a better
Like,
word.
cock and dick would have been way...
Yeah.
Cock and dick would have been way...
He cringed. Wow, this is another fanfic that used the word cringe.
Honestly, like, there's 6 big fucking scaly bastards gonna fuck you, and they're bigger than you. And one's bigger than the rest, let's be honest. It's gonna cringe and, like, pain. Some shit.
He cringed and moaned a bit, knowing that what would he next? That's literally the word it just said. What would he next? But a bit knowing what would he next. 2 minutes of sucking, and the alpha decided it was time. The other 2 moved, and the alpha slowly lowered her. Oh wow, that went straight. That went straight. Okay then.
Hey, at least it's not the argonian one where it's like, pow, pow, pow.
Yeah, but this one, it instead of saying her, like it said earlier, womanhood, or last time, like magic stick. I'd actually like to see a little magic stick play. I'm gonna lay down for this. I can't take this. Fucking Christ.
Oh man, I love this.
The other 2 moved,
but it's
and the
fun.
alpha slowly lowered her pussy into the into the wanderer's
whoa.
dick. James,
It probably autocorrected from 1 to into, let's be honest on that
Yeah.
one. It's like 1 letter, so.
yeah, it looks like it's been written with a phone. James gasped and moaned. The pleasure immense. The Deathclaw also moaned. Wait, they can moan?
Technically, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if they can.
Yeah. The pleasure immense. Thank you, phone, for turning off every second. You turn it back on, please? Come on.
The parts where he has to turn the phone back on.
It's an out-of-body experience, KORRIN.
Well, fucking 6 Deathclaws? One bigger
Yeah.
than the rest, or the phone turning off?
Yeah, both. As she began to salivate all over his body, as she rode him, another Deathclaw lowered her head into his as they began to kiss and lick each other passionately. 2 other Deathclaws lifted their tails and rested their... Okay, here we go. Clits on his hand.
Oh, here we go.
Prompting him to massage and penetrate them. One of the final 2 licked James' testicles, and how do they do that?
How do they wait? Okay.
How do they
repeat
get
again,
that
because
low? How do they get that low while there's one giant Deathclaw just right?
Yeah, there's one bigger than the rest right on the. How the hell did they even?
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to see where it is.
How did they fit?
Whoa! Where is it? Where is? All right, here we go. The final 2 licked James' testicles, and the alpha ride him, while the other fucking Christ, the phone turns off. While the other spreads his gently and slowly began to lick and penetrate his ass.
Oh no! Why? What? Wait a minute. Are they picking this motherfucker up? How the hell?
No. While the okay, so one of them was licking the testicles, and the other one was just spreading his ass cheeks open and fucking licking his asshole.
Okay, so one is licking his. What the hell? What the fuck? How? How? I want to know.
Slowly began.
There's not enough room. Are they like fucking? Is he huge? Is he huge? Are they picking his asshole?
I don't know. With everyone doing something, James could hardly tell which source of pleasure to focus on. So much hormones were flowing through him, he couldn't think of anything but continuing his time with the Deathclaws. 12 more minutes of riding, and he couldn't handle it no more. He roared and climaxed, shooting a long white stream of... Okay, here we go. Semen inside the Deathclaw.
That's not better.
Yeah.
I can't argue.
It's better. It's better than... Yeah,
I
the
mean,
words.
they could have used harder words, let's be honest.
You know what? That would be funny if they used seminal fluid.
No, like, they could have said cum and that'd be way
Yeah,
worse.
that's why,
But they
yeah,
just-
I would cringe when I see that word. The Deathclaw also roared, climaxing, and coating his dick in slightly green vaginal fluids. All of them, ew. I'll be snapped out of it and I'll be, ew, it's gross.
Yeah, it's fucking green.
Ew, grody, ew.
It's totally not red, my man.
Not red, dude. Come on, man. That's cringe. You're gonna lose subscribers. All of them got off him and stopped. Stopped. Taking time to admire the exhausted human, his body was coated in saliva along with scars and minor cuts. His hands were wet and rubbing. Okay. There we go. I let it out.
God damn it, Deadly.
I guess that's why I was like about to throw up, because I needed to burp. Alright. Where was I at? His hands were wet from rubbing off the females, and his face was especially saliva drenched from kissing one of the females. His genital area was coated in vaginal fluid. Ew, grody, dude. Ew.
Just remember, it's green. Just remember, it's green.
It's green. Ew. Alright, where was I again? I can't. I love doing that shit. Your general layer
Vaginal
was
fluid.
vaginal fluid, saliva, and even a bit of his own spits. His own spilt semen.
Spit?
Spilt semen.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Is that it? He asked, exhausted, looking up at the Deathclaws. Nope. They all began to get in the same position, just switching out roles, making sure all the females got to ride the humans.
Why?
The sessions lasted for hours, and many took extra turns to enjoy the human. Once it was all said and done, the Deathclaws got off the exhausted human, even more dirty than before. They looked at each other and seemed to growl and agree as they walked away and left him on his own. James panted, vision getting blurry from extreme exhaustion. Before he went out, he popped a vertebrate grenade and hoped for the best. James awoke, and okay, this is the outro, I guess. James awoke in a Brotherhood clinic bed, bandages wrapped around his waist. Of course. The disappointed doctor next to him. Knight, you look like you were tired to take in. You look like you look like you tried to take on the Institute by yourself, and all that fluid you're covered in made some of our scribes vomit. I would too. What happened down there?
Yeah, I definitely would too.
Yeah. He questioned with a tone
paradise
that made him seem like he already knew the answer. I helped some Deathclaws out with their eggs, and well, it's something that come on! And well, it's something that needed to be seen to believe. The doctor sighed, writing on his clipboard. You do realize this is going on your record, right, Knight? Still, I must say, I don't think I've met a knight who survived a Deathclaw orgy. He said, cringing. Another word of cringing. Your hip is gonna be out of order for a while. Too many rides, he said, sighing in disappointment. Just take it easy and rest. You can probably try walking tomorrow. Sure thing, Doc, James muttered, falling asleep quickly, exhausted from the events of the day before. In his mind, he could have sworn that he heard the Deathclaws growling again. The end.
You know what? At the end of the day, all they'd have to do is use a stem pack on it, and he'd go for round 2.
Oh yeah. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay.
Your dick was crippled.
Okay. Wait a minute. Okay. Okay, let's go. Aw, you got 20.
20 again.
You know what? Hit me. Hit me in the face. Hit me. Start.
Get him out of here. Oh. It's only 1.
Yeah, so 16. Hit me. 50.
350. Wow, we got the same one.
Alright, 15. I'll go 15.
We got the same thing. Hey, Deadly, you
Well,
want...
I got a queen. I got a queen.
Yeah, I got a king.
Hit me.